immediate thought was, is this a PR move or is Ranieri really the right guy? And the more I thought about it, friends, I'm Wayne Gerard. We're going to be talking about the appointment of Claudio Ranieri out of retirement and now back in Rome. After Ivan Juric has been fired, a move which didn't surprise anybody, but definitely the right move, was the wrong appointment. De Rossi should never have been fired. And yes, Linus Soloku, I definitely 100% blame you for that and your inept choices this past 6 months. But is this a way for the Friedkins? I'm going to offer two trains of thinking and then ultimately what I thought. A way for them to quell the fans as well as put pressure off of themselves and put it away from the coach and more so on the players? Or was this the right move? Because now it's not just that Ranieri will be the manager for the coming season, or I should say for the remainder of the season, but actually over the next year, the following season, he will become a director in the dirigente. So I think because of that, because of the structure of this, because Ranieri will continue to be part of Roma, I think it's absolutely the right move. I was afraid, very afraid of signing Roberto Mancini, Max Allegri, or Terzic, somebody like this, to a 2 or 3 year deal, and suddenly Roma find themselves in an endless supply of mediocrity. I was really afraid of that type of contract. But instead, I think this is the perfect move because Ranieri has all the accolades. He is the true great uncle of Rome at this point. And I think he's going to get them playing tough. I think he's going to make the players feel important, but also hold them accountable. I think it's one of the most important facets here is say, guys, whatever the drama was, you didn't get along with the coach, you don't want to play this, whatever that is, it stops. And you can trust me. But you have to go along with what I'm telling you because I've been at the heights. I know what it's like in Rome. I know what it's like to win the Premier League. I know what it's like to go far in the Champions League. I absolutely understand what it takes, and I am the mature individual. He's not the guy who's going to come in the locker room screaming and throwing shoes at David Beckham's head. He's a different type of personality, and I think Roma need that mature and also grounding type of person right now, type of boss. So I think this, as I reflected more and more, this was absolutely the right move for me. There's a lot of thoughts further as we go even more into this question, though. And I asked my guys in our WhatsApp group for this channel, let's call it a Roma WhatsApp group, because it is, and we have a nice light atmosphere. So guys like Vincenzo, Ben, they actually helped me with some questions here. And I want to pose this question here also. What would be success? And I want you to write in a comment and tell me, what does success look like come May, come season's end? Where should Roma be? So I'm going to write that as a banner. We'll just put Ranieri returns for now. But what does success look like? And for me, I think it is getting back into probably fifth spot because we still got that as a Champions League era or a Champions League spot, right? So if Roma can get back to fifth, and I want to quickly look at the league table and just see how far back are Roma actually. I think they're in 12th. Yeah, so 13 points, but fifth is 25. And guess who it is? It's Lazio. That's a lot of ground. You're talking 12 points, 4 wins. Roma are in a desperate situation right now. They're actually closer, much closer to relegation, 4 points away than they are to getting back in the Champions League. But if it were also to be the Coppa Italia, I would count that too as success because there would be fewer things greater than Ranieri finally getting that Coppa Italia with Roma. He got so close years before. And I just want to remind everybody, this is the same manager who in 2009, 2010 almost led Roma after a poor start. Spalletti resigns. Ranieri comes in. Almost, only on the last match day, do they fumble the Scudetto because of Pazzini of Sampdoria with Cassano. And those two dominated that match. Roma blow it. In week 31, though, what happens, and I'll show you on Twitter here. I want to share this for a second. Week 31, he pulls it out, and he beats Mourinho's Inter. That Inter, which won the treble that following year. And who scored? Daniele De Rossi. And now it's being whispered and mentioned and thought by some fans that maybe, you know what, maybe De Rossi should be the guy who comes in and actually partners Ranieri. And I think that would be a great idea. I also read a comment the other day which says that when De Rossi was a player, he actually said to the management that they should get Tonali and bring him in and have him play for a year with De Rossi, and he can go through the ropes. So I thought that was a really cool idea from De Rossi, and to see him go back on that. I actually would like Tonali now. I think it's going to be more or less impossible to get him from Newcastle now that he's finally playing again. I know he had a really great game yesterday for Italy. Also, if you saw the match for the Azzurri, let me know how that went. I know that they're looking in a really good spot to get the first place in the Nations League tournament now. I don't really care too much about Nations League. I think it's just another way for players to get hurt. But nonetheless, let me know what you think. So I will tell you that on Forza Roma, the website I read most, if you see this here, the Radio Pensieri, the radio thoughts, Mattioli, they always put a negative comment here. I'm talking from day one, since I have read Forza Roma, it's always been the thoughts negative. Today, the first time I can ever remember, it is something positive. Ranieri, Mossa Furba, a smart move of the Friedkins. Wow, have things changed as far as the attitude around Rome right now? I also have this comment here, question I think that Vincenzo posted, and he says, what should Ranieri do with Hummels and the rest of the underused signings, like perhaps Sangare and Dahl? I want to see Dahl. I really do. I want to see him get in there. Swedish fullback. He was highly regarded when he came to Rome. So let's see what he can do. But Angelino has been pretty much locking down that left flank. But with Hummels, there needs to be a rekindling of that relationship. I hope it's not too late. I hope he's not already planning a move back to Germany or even like Major League Soccer, maybe to Red Bulls. I'm making that up just because I live very close to New York Red Bull Stadium. But that would be pretty cool. So if he does stay and Ranieri can reintegrate him, I do want to see what happens with Pellegrini and Cristante, the Senators, and Mancini, Gianluca Mancini, if he is kept as a focal point. I don't think he's had a good season so far. I think last year he started to drop off. I think that he has a heavy salary, and with that comes expectations to come week in and week out and to be a high-level performer. If we're speaking, as gentlemen here, that you have a responsibility. You have a big contract. You're a leader. You're the vice captain. You have to show up every single game. That's the responsibility of that armband. The same goes, of course, even more so for Pellegrini. I want to see if the great uncle of Rome, as I'm calling him, can reintegrate Lorenzo, and if this can be something which helps him turn the tide. I don't think so. I have to be honest with you. I think it's over. I think that Pellegrini has to find a new location where he can start over, because it seems to be mental more than anything. And I think after 3.5 years of somewhat mediocre results, it's time for him to do something else. But here's that article I was mentioning. A Roma c'è già chi sogna il tandem Ranieri DDR. So, yeah, it's me. I'm one of those people. I think De Rossi should come in and be the guy who learns under him, being his assistant, and then take over, learn a few things or two, because what we saw was a few different ideas. We didn't see a hard, solidified type of football from De Rossi over his 6 months in charge. Oh, most of that was during the summer. But also Dybala's birthday, and as I mentioned, this attitude, Claudio vuole cuore e identità, so wants the heart and identity. It's what he's requiring of his players. I like seeing him with El Shaarawy there, who I'm hoping gets maybe another year to help Roma after his 2 big goals against, who did Roma just lose to? I'm blocking it out of my memory at this point. Was it Bologna? Could have been Verona. Doesn't even matter to me at this. Just start over now. Start over after the international break. Put all that behind you. But speaking of Dybala's birthday, which leads me to the formations. So I want to show you Enzo. Enzo has a lot of tweets on Twitter, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it quickly. But one of those questions becomes, what is the formation going to be? I know that defensively, Ranieri drops into a 4-4-1-1. At Leicester, it was really a 4-4-2. Last time he was in Roma, it was sometimes a 4-3-1-2, sometimes a 4-2-3-1. I'm not so sure if I got that one right, that last one, the 4-2-3-1. But I am expecting a more defensively sound team. That's for sure. And I think you got to start over there. If you want to play high-flying football, it starts from the back. If you want to play possession-based football, either way, it's got to start off with a solid base, solid fundamental starting point as your back line. That's going to propel you. So regardless of the formation, the point is that you have to start from the back by getting these boys organized. Because so far, for the majority of the season, we've had Angelino playing left center back when he's truly a left wing back and somebody who's honestly better in the middle to final third of the pitch. Let me know what you think about that formation and who should be the starters. I will tell you, in the midfield, it's going to be Kone, Pesili, and Baldanzi as the trequartista. Regardless if he collapses defensively and creates a 3 or part of the 4-man midfield, when it comes time to advance, he's got to be the guy pulling the strings and creating. Out on the left wing, I still don't know. Right back, I don't know. Of course, yeah, there's only Salik. I know that, but it's, you know what? January is around the window. It's around the corner. It's already November 15th. I'm shocked saying that, but there's a lot of work to do. We'll see if Gisolfi is able to work something out. I'm hopeful with Ranieri, and I think that this can really put the club in the right direction. So let me know what you guys think. Leave a like. We'll talk soon. Ciao.